Hey guys, what's going on? It's T-Carp. I'm going to be reading the Sasquatch Awareness Project, Dad's book. If any of you ask, why do I do this in my car and stuff like that, you got a dog barking in the background. You can kind of tell. So it's honestly one of the really nice quiet places. It has really good lighting. The audio is not terrible. Just kind of all those little things that you have to think about when making a video and doing a one cut take and going 10, 12, 20 minutes. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to start back on the Sasquatch Awareness Project. Now, the last video was pretty controversial. Dad made the case for the Nephilim to have property rights, and that really bothered a few of you. Because you have this non-human or half human, half angel, or 2/3 human angel, kind of mess with that kind of different thing there, and have property rights. And the problem is not only property rights, but property rights that God respects, which is definitely something to think about. It's like, does this exist? And I personally believe, and I know Dad believes this too, and believed it, and Dad knows all the answers now. We believe that God has rules, and God follows His rules, and property rights are a rule, and especially to why, and it bothers people. Okay, and here's a good example of, it's like, how can these have dominion over this? Well, here's the thing. The prince of the power of the air right now is Satan. The ruler of this world that we know right now is Satan. This is Satan's kingdom at the moment. If it were not, then he couldn't have tempted Jesus, and when he took him on that high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the earth and said, I'll give all these to you if you bow down and worship me. It's not a temptation if he didn't have it. It's not like me saying, hey, I'll give you this Lamborghini over here if you do something for me, because I ain't got it. But if I've got it, that's a temptation. So just a thought to think. Now, I believe Jesus is coming back, and he's going to rightfully take hold of his kingdom of the earth. But right now it's not his at the moment. And I know that bothers so many people right now. He's just not the king of the earth right now. He is our king, our ruling and reigning king. Just not yet on here. It says he comes as a thief, and that's Jesus comes as a thief. Well, he's stealing us from the power of Satan at the moment. So it's very, I know it's hard for folks to really grasp that, and it's very controversial, but that's what I truly believe. Anyway, let's get into this. Dad has just made the case to Mike the Rancher for this. So 3 days later, on April the 13th of 2021, Dad gets this reply from Mike. Scott, so sorry to hear about the divorce. There's never a good answer as to why either. As far as the situation here with Sasquatch, I fully prepared to take your advice and really try to reach a compromise. I have spoken to the elder Sasquatch, not sure if that's even a thing, but I'm going to say it was an elder. I watched it. It watched me very intently, appears to understand me, or simply was trying to figure out what I'm saying. It never fully exposed itself to me, but when I was done speaking, it simply turned after a few seconds and looked back at me, then walked off. I took a few bags of grain, 50-pound bags, down to a large fallen cottonwood tree, placed them on it, and left. Yesterday I returned and they were gone. No trace of anything eating it or trying to open the bags. They were simply gone. I'm going to attempt to bring them into the area and hopefully speak to them, or at least know that they are near and speak to them. I am willing to leave them alone as long as they return the favor and stop tearing up things around the ranch. Thanks again, good luck with all the trouble you are going through too, praying for you as well. Now, this was a time in my dad's life that was very tumultuous. I don't like to tell a lot of dad's, baggage or dirty laundry, but he was going through some things. 2021 was very, very difficult for Dad. So to know that Mike was there for him, if you ever watch these, I'm so appreciative of you for being there for Dad and praying for him. It means a lot to me. Then later on the 14th, I've gone to every spot in our ranch that has the most activity with the Sasquatch. I have spoken to them at each spot. I left Truce gifts and grains of meat. Not sure if they were present while I was speaking to them. I plan to return to these spots on Friday and see if any of them are gone. I hung several chickens by the feet using hooks and spots that one couldn't simply pull them down. You must lift them and remove the wire on their feet, simply to rule out predators. It will require the use of hands. I placed their favorite feed in metal storage bins that must be opened by hand. Molasses cake that we feed the horses seems to be their main target, and that whole corn. I will report back to you on Friday with any events that may or may not unfold. On April the 27th, I received this email from the rancher. Since I did the things you suggested, there has been no malicious activity from them. Both of the cabins we use guiding hunts are still in great shape. Normally, they have these things torn up pretty frequently. No more theft of calves or chickens. On Friday, I got up to go feed, and there was a pile of shed horns laying directly behind the ATV. I use around the ATV that I use daily around the ranch. There were 4 elk horns and 6 deer horns, all shed stacked neatly in a pile. I know dang well I didn't put them there. I know my wife didn't. I know my 4-year-old did not as well. I keep hundreds of sheds in the garage where I keep many of the mounts and all my reloading stuff. The door to the garage is always locked. I found that very strange, as these were all dark horn, meaning fresh sheds. Typical sheds I find are usually light colored due to sunlight and being last year's sheds. The bags of feed were taken, not opened, and eaten as if other critters would have done, but zero sign of any grains were on the ground. They were carried away. The chickens I tied in the tree were untied, and the wire is still there. So, again, no other predator could have untied them. I responded, "Great news, praise the Lord. I am so glad they heard you and made peace." Mike's response on the 29th, "I can't thank you enough for the insight and recommendations of dealing with these beings." My response, "You are very welcome. I'm just glad I could be of some assistance. There are no experts, and sometimes it's just trial and error, doing the best we can. Do you mind if I share your experience? I will not put your name in and leave you anonymous, but I think other people can benefit from what we've learned from your situation, and many can be helped. I don't want to invade your privacy, but I just want to help people. You never imagine the number of emails I get from people who are having similar issues. So anything I could give them would be helpful. Thank you, and God bless. Talk to you soon." Now, this is May 1st. Mike responded, "Absolutely, share away. If I can help others, we have to continue sharing the truth." Mike's last update was on August 30th, 2021. This following his text message. "Haven't been able to really get back with you. Been busy. Prepping for summer, winter pasture moves, getting the hunting season started. There's been quite a bit of activity over the last few months. Nothing bad to report, but lots of signs and shenanigans from the Sasquatch. Archery season ramps up this weekend, and I have the hunt camps fully prepped and ready to go. There's been no damage to them. I butchered a beef August 7th, took the heart, liver, kidneys, etc. I left them hanging from a burlap sack about 14 feet high near the west cabin. The sack was untied, removed from its spot. One of them seems to be either messing around or acting up some. The sack was returned the following day and was left with rocks and a shed deer horn in it. I'm not sure what to make of that. but it was tossed onto the cabin roof. I found it because the rope I used to tie it was originally to the tree was hanging off the cabin roof. So as of now, there has been no more livestock and no damage to the cabins. The west cabin had the utmost activity of any of the area here. I'm always finding what I would call either signs or shapes made of sticks and stones around the cabin quite often. Nothing very detailed, just obviously nothing that anything in nature can make without the use of hands. There had been several elk horn sheds left in a certain triangle shape as well. Not sure if this is any type of communication or simply them letting me know that they are there. Any feedback on this, any feedback on what to do with that would be great. I hope this message finds you well and finds you at peace with the family issues. Thanks for your continued support and help. God bless you, brother. The agreement Mike struck is keeping the Sasquatch from harassing him and destroying his property from April 21st to January 22nd, January 2022. On February 17, 2022, I received the following text message from Mike. Howdy, bud. This is Mike. Things have started back up around the ranch yet again. I was working in the barn in the west of the house back in January and had some real dry, warm temps. I had a 43-pound rock thrown through the east-facing wall of the barn. It nearly took out my full ranch hand. We searched around and found that the rock was picked up from where you could see the fresh soil that was under it, where it was picked up from. That was 83 feet from the barn. We weighed the rock as well as measured the distance from where it was picked up. I've had 2 more goats stolen from locked, fully enclosed fences, a fenced area, a 6-foot chain link pen. No way to get out unless something lifted them over it. Moving on to recent activities, I was riding my horse checking the fence and I had a large tree branch thrown at me with full intent. Spooked the horse enough that I was thrown. Not sure what to do anymore. I thought this was over. My response: got your text. I will respond in detail tomorrow. But remember, we are dealing with a people. They are just like us. They lie, steal, cheat, change their mind. Plus, they live there. So it's always going to be an issue. The key is being able to live with it and coexist. I assume you kept your end of the deal. Did they give you any indication that they need some food for the winter before taking the goats? Mike's response: yes, sir. Every hunt this year, I have left the heart, kidney, livers, tied old game bags exactly, as well as a few wild hog halves that I shot in Texas. I shot 12 pigs at a good friend's place, and I kept 20 to 40 pound pigs and brought the big ones back just to leave for them. Everything went full on quite when the heavy snow hit, but since the warmer days are back, the problems are back. I did lose it some when the rock was thrown through the barn, nearly hitting the ranch hand. I grabbed the AR-10 out of the pickup and fired a full magazine into the woods, cursing and yelling. Hopefully I didn't take it too far, but it just got to me. I was at my breaking point. I'm turning off the blacktop now. Won't have cell service until tomorrow late morning. I'll respond to any other questions then. Thanks again for taking the time to help me with this. My response: I would go out and talk to them. Tell them that you kept that you're part of the agreement. You have to understand they will respond very aggressively to you if you shoot at them. End of the text string. I continued a conversation with Mike a few more days. We discussed options and why the rock was thrown, and the Sasquatch appeared to have broken the agreement with Mike. We speculated the boulder through the barn could have been the sign they were desiring food. These events happen during later winter when natural food sources are depleted. Mike discussed that he is contemplating selling this part of the ranch where he has had the issues and purchase land in another area where he owns land on which he has had no Sasquatch activity. It's difficult to know why the agreement broke down. Mike could have missed subtle messages they needed food. There could have been another group moving the area that had no obligation to abide by Mike's agreement. I think being extremely aggressive and shooting at them most likely nullified or strained his agreement with the Sasquatch. This could have also been a rogue Sasquatch that is not part of the clan, or a non-compliant member of the clan getting out of hand. I asked Mike for an update February the 28th of 2022. So March 1st, 2022, Mike responds, I've simply turned fully to God on this. I've prayed numerous times over the last weeks. I won't attempt to harm them, nor will I feed them. I've went to all the usual places that before I've spoken out to them. I was very stern with telling them that they will no longer take from us, that they are not allowed within 200 yards of the dwelling on this ranch. There will only be leftovers from hunts and nothing else. I've told them that if they do not respect this agreement, there will be severe consequences. I promised them safe passage around the ranch, provided they strictly adhere to this final warning. That's the best I can think to do at this point, Scott. I feel like my options are getting awful thin. My response: that sounds like you're doing the right thing. Since they broke the agreement, I agree with you 100%. Just keep praying. I think this is new territory for everybody. There's no handbook on how to deal with these things. It's just trial and error, past experiences. And Mike responded, I just have to realize exactly that and tread lightly before going on the attack. Exhaust every option before going to arms. My response: has anything more happened since the things you told me about, or have they respected what you've told them? Mike says, I've had some knocks and some feed taken, but only a bucket full of grain I left out by accident. I just went and spoke out to them on Saturday evening. I just bought another pair of goats yesterday. We'll see how that goes. Tonight will be the first night they will be left in the pen. I'm bringing the cow-calf pairs back home on Friday from the winter pastures. We'll see if any calves are taken. On April 12th, 2022, Mike sends an update. Weeks since the issuing the ultimatum on them, it's been real quiet around the place. This is the first time in a long time the chickens have been left alone. This is the longest a goat has been around without disappearing. I have left the feed sacks out on purpose for several weeks, only to have them still untouched. That's unheard of. Here's my best guess. A rogue clan member was doing those things, and possibly the others cracked down on him or her when I was yelling at them from various locations of the ranch, issuing them the last straw ultimatum. Let's hope this continues, as I'm out of options if it doesn't. My response was, praying for you, and I'm glad the truce is holding, and I agree, most likely a rogue. I have no more news from Mike after April the 12th update. From now, there's peace again. Mike's firm but peaceful response to them appears to have the Sasquatch clan adhering to the agreement. I shared this entire Mike the Rancher saga with the reader so that one could understand the complexities of dealing with the Sasquatch in a real-world situation. There are no experts, period. Each situation is unique, and many times trial and error are the only methods that one has at their disposal. It's this situation that bartered deal is holding, and there is finally peace on Mike's ranch. Here are a few takeaways from Mike's predicament. In situations where the Sasquatch have dominion, agreements can be reached by bartering. 2, the Sasquatch are like us. They can lie, steal, cheat, and generally be dishonest. We may never know why several months of peace the Sasquatch became aggressive again, possibly a rogue Sasquatch or clan member that was misbehaving. We still have much to learn, but I would still recommend the bartered agreement in a similar situation. I would, however, make sure that I have clear and undeniable method for the Sasquatch to let you know of a change or the termination of the agreement. And 5, violence is always the last resort. It almost derailed the entire agreement Mike had with the Sasquatch. Mike's firm, direct, and honest interaction with the Sasquatch, along with honoring the original conditions of the agreement, repaired both the relationship and the agreement with the Sasquatch clan. Sometimes the only thing one can do is move if you're not willing to be vigilant and tolerate the Sasquatch presence. A special thanks to Mike for allowing us to share this deeply personal experience he had with the Sasquatch. His and my hope is that it will help some in similar situations. We also hope it helps educate everyone about the reality of Sasquatch and the real situations thousands of people are dealing with every day. Below is the gray-colored Sasquatch hiding in dense cover. I spotted this Sasquatch on a ridge line above me, approximately 300 feet away. When I raised the camera to film it, the Sasquatch immediately jumps down into the foliage from standing position into a stump pose. Note the Sasquatch is not looking directly at me and the camera. Before I raised the camera, we were making direct eye contact. So I'm going to show you guys that picture. That's the picture your dad's that, and you can just do that. All right, and that is the end of the Mike the Rancher saga. Next time on the Sasquatch Awareness Project, we are going to get into those that quote, "I want to seek out the Sasquatch research obsession," and see what Dad has to say again in the Sasquatch Awareness Project. I'm so grateful for all of y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, do all the things. If you've had Sasquatch experiences, there's tons of information. We've been reading this for a while. If you'd like to email me, you can at tcarp1616. Again, thank you guys so much. And tcarp1616 at yahoo.com. Again, thank you so much, and God bless.